So while I've been working on these number of different startups and organizations, I was mostly involved in the media buying section, which includes paid ads for platforms including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and sometimes Google not so much because I'll get into this stuff right away. But for today's session, getting your content heard on TikTok is something a bit abstract for as of right now because it's one of the most fastest growing platforms across a number of different social media platforms that are actually available today, including Facebook and Instagram. I actually just heard the news that it has a monthly active users about 800 million, not monthly actually, daily active users, and it has surpassed the number of downloads that Facebook and Instagram had about 3 to 4 years ago. And taking this under consideration, this presentation will not only just be about TikTok and how you can actually grow your brand. I will also be talking about a number of different platforms such as Facebook and Instagram as well, and give you a live demonstration of how you make an ad on Facebook. So you actually have something to take away from this presentation and then move forward with it. I will also be talking about the perspective that every single platform holds with regards to your business and how you can market your specific business on these specific platforms. So, yeah, before we dive a little bit deeper into this, I know the Birmingham Enterprise Community has launched this webinar, but I would like to get a personal opinion as to why did you come to this webinar today? Like, what was the motivation to come behind it? Of course, it's a platform where uh, a number of different users are actually there. But what is your perspective of what you would like to get out of this webinar? If you could drop down something on the chat, or Dan will unmute you guys.
Yeah, if anybody wants to share their perspective on this, just type in the chat and I'll unmute you for a second. Anyone?
It's okay if there are no answers.
Familiarity with the platform. Yeah, I think for a lot of people it is that. I've never used TikTok before, not just for business but for even personally. So knowing exactly what it's all about, what the difference is between TikTok and other platforms, what the audience is like on TikTok, what engagement we should expect. Same for me, never used it, want to know more. Seems totally different, so good to get an intro. So yeah, very, very similar from a lot of us in just not having a clue what TikTok's all about. Okay.
Cool. So to give you an overview of why these platforms actually exist is it helps you better communicate with your customers and entertain them because let's be honest guys, none of our customers which are actually there on any of these platforms want us to be bored. If they are bored, they're just not going to care about what product you want to sell, what information you have. They just don't care, and that's the fact. And I say this not just without any experience, is because I've actually spoken to the customers that I've actually got in touch with and gained their opinions as to why they wanted to get in touch with me or why they bought a product from me. And taking on these platforms under consideration, especially Facebook or Instagram, the scalability on these platforms to get in touch with the actual customer that you want to get in touch with is just amazing. And I will get in touch with, I'll talk to you about this later in the detail. So, given the nature of every single one of these platforms, I have broken down every single one of these social media platforms into a number of different perspectives that I hold from my experience. So let's just take a very basic business, for example, a restaurant. So if you wish to market your restaurant in any one of these platforms, I would go about doing stuff like this. So if you're marketing your business on Instagram, I would show behind the scenes of the restaurants, which includes recipes of a specific restaurant, or why would a person come inside that restaurant, what type of chefs actually cook in that restaurant, pictures of food, etc. In terms of Facebook, I would rather help that restaurant market an irresistible offer. For example, a buy one get one free offer, and use paid ads to leverage that specific campaign. With regards to YouTube, I would talk about this story. Why would since we are human beings and we've been influenced by history for a very long time, I'm very much attached to any product or any service with regards to their story. Why should a customer come to you in comparison to your other competitors to buy the product? What makes you special that they don't? With regards to Snapchat, since it has a feature of a 24-hour story, which also Instagram has, you can show a daily vlog of what goes on to your business. With regards to TikTok, I mean, you can show the creepy, entertaining side of your business or your personality as well. With regards to, one second. All of these social media platforms, which are total number of 5, are described as edutainment. The customer needs to be educated with regards to your platform or your service, as well as at the same time be entertained a number of different times. I actually wanted to point out a very interesting point from any one of these, but I've actually forgotten it. So I'll get back to it in another slide. But so far, do you guys have any questions or any pointers that I can answer so far?
Just wait and see. One from me whilst we're waiting for some people to type. How do you make, because some of these, obviously involve video. So whether it's some of the behind the scenes stuff maybe, or the vlog or the stuff on TikTok, how do you make sure they're all different? And how also do you make sure that you've got plenty of ideas for content that you can use on the different ones instead of reusing the same content on all the platforms?
So I couldn't hear that question. Could you?
So how do you make sure that you're suggesting here that you want to use not the same content on these platforms, but different content because they have a different purpose?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you make sure that you have enough content that you can have different content on different platforms, or are you coming on to that?
Yeah, so based on any one of these specific platforms, it's all about creating content. So you need to be consistent enough on a weekly basis or on a daily basis. So I'm not expecting any one of our clients so far or the people so far to create irresistible amount of content every single day and just start out posting stuff. We need to first initially get familiar with every single one of these platforms and see if if you're getting the reach or if you're getting the feedback from every customer that you're on this specific platform. So in the beginning, I would recommend every single one of them to at least start with one platform and then move on to the others.
Thank you.
So one more thing that Dan actually pointed out was how can you make sure that the content on every single one of these platforms is not the same? So taking under consideration a specific piece of content, for example, a podcast. Now, a podcast can be in a video format, which can be which can be uploaded on YouTube. The same thing, the audio format can be into an audio type podcast, and you can make snippets of that 1 hour session into a number of different Instagram videos. So it's 3 pieces of content, which is for hearing, for visual, and for actually seeing a snippets of it on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube.
So you're saying there it's not necessarily the content itself that has to be different, it's the way you present that content.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, we already touched on this, but can you do you guys remember what I talked about previously? Like, what does this number represent? Do you guys remember what I said in the first slide? There? Yep, yes, Liam, that's correct. Daily active user. I mean, it's astonishing to see a platform gain such a massive growth in just 1 year. I mean, taking into consideration, this is the exact same thing that happened to Instagram 7 years ago. It was a company, a 360, 400-year-old company making no money, and Facebook bought it for $1.7 billion, and it had massive growth. It had an extrusion amount of growth in just 400 days. And TikTok being such a platform, it gives us the opportunity to, I suspect COVID-19 will increase the use of every one of them. Oh yeah, that's true. So with regards to this COVID-19 stuff, the number of businesses advertising on platforms such as Facebook and Instagram has significantly lowered, but the amount of time spent on these platforms has skyrocketed. I mean, we are binge watching Netflix, Facebook, and TikTok for a number of minutes every single day. Of course, because we don't have anything else to do, but yeah, users have skyrocketed. So especially when it comes to platforms like TikTok, it gives us that opportunity to present ourselves in a very creative way. And getting to the point of having opinions about, it's very difficult to make a TikTok. I actually don't know how to do it. Everyone on that platform is kind of stupid. I understand people's perception of how stupid that platform is, but I've tried making TikToks and it's so difficult. The level of creativity for short term or for short form of funny content is extremely difficult. And I really applaud those guys, those users, those customers, not even customers, the creators on that platform, that they're taking the time to entertain us. And that's what I go about thinking. So right now, I would actually like to share my phone screen with you and show some amazing TikToks. One second. Um,
Just whilst Elroy is doing that, does anybody here actually use TikTok, but not in a business sense? I know there's quite a few of you who have never used it at all, but does anybody use it for personal use at the moment?
I literally showed Dan this demo 5 minutes ago before we started on taking time.
It's a typical problem. I am always amazed when, if you ever go to any development meetups and they try to do live coding.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the majority here is kind of no. Some people sort of. So I imagine those people maybe just use it to watch content rather than put content out. Here we go.
So this is my screen. Can you guys see it all? One second. So I'll initially go on my specific platform as to what type of TikToks that I actually made. This is the one. This one is actually the one I'm extremely proud about. So I'll show you guys this one. This was a bottle flip challenge that I was actually doing. And the first TikTok that I actually made. So the reason why this platform is actually booming so much is there are very few creators on this platform and the number of users is extremely high. So there's more demand and less supply. This is the reason why on my first TikTok, even without having any followers, I got to a reach of 113 people. I mean, I had 0 followers by that time, and 9 people like this. If you can actually see, 10 now since I've liked my own video. 10 people actually liked this, and there were 113 views. If you can see very closely, the one on the right hand bottom corner, 113 views. I mean, I didn't have any followers at that time, and I don't know from where these views actually came, but they started growing as I put out much more content. The most viewed so far has been this one. Did you guys see that? Dan?
Yeah.
Cool, cool. So, in regards to starting out as an initial user on TikTok, I initially did not have any idea as to what type of content I actually wanted to put, because most of my content, which was there on Instagram, was extremely serious. I was only talking about social media platforms, how to go about using it, showcasing my case studies as to am I a credible person or not? Have I actually run ads? So a lot of serious stuff. And even though the TikTok could like serious stuff in the future, I actually wanted to start out as a bit quirky. So in this section of discovery, which you can actually see over here, there are a number of different challenges that every single one of these hashtags claim. So as of right now, there's a TikTok chef challenge going on, which in India, where people are learning how to cook. So if you have some recipes or if you have some interesting things to talk about being a chef, you can use that hashtag and grow extremely well. There are other ones like hashtag learn from home. Since we are all sitting in our homes and doing work from home, there are a number of different people who have created TikToks based around that. So let's just see one. This is one. This is, I think this is a bit educational. Let's see. It's in Hindi. Forget it. Yeah. It's in Hindi. Let's just see if we can find something else. So she's an influencer who has posted this video with regards to posing. How do I pose with her brother? How can she actually poses with her brother? Is there anything else I can show you guys? One more interesting thing about TikTok is that it's also if you look at it, it's also quite niche related as well. For example, if you're a musician or something, and if you keep on producing a number of beats every single day, or come up with a number of tunes, you can actually post your tunes on TikTok, where you can get any one of these influencers that are actually there on TikTok with regards to their video and make it go viral. I actually wanted to do that for my dad's business, which I'll talk about later in this session. But I would also like to show you
Could
one
I
of my
could I just
favorite.
ask a could I just ask a
Yeah,
couple of questions at this point? So
yeah.
so one, I from this bit that you're saying here,
Hmm.
almost the theme of the content is dictated by the platform. So the
Yes.
platform here is suggesting what you need to put. So it's about really a lot of engaging in challenges or themes that are ongoing, and you put your own spin on that.
Hmm.
Which is not, although it happens sometimes on some other platforms, not as strong as this. Is this
Yes.
what does so there's that. Second is how does the platform work in terms of content? Who sees your content? You mentioned that even with no followers, people viewed your video. So what does your feed look like, and where are the sources for that feed? Is it just people you follow? Do you follow trends instead? What does that look like?
So it's mostly related to this hashtag. So when you're creating videos, let's just say I'll show you this one. Yeah. So in the description, I don't know why it's taking this long. 1 second. Let's just load. I'll just show you.
So people would be more likely to try and view by hashtags rather than by users.
Yeah. So depending on the hashtag that you actually use on your specific video, those are the number of your users, or those are the number of people who have actually liked a specific content based around that hashtag, and that's how it gets tracked.
Rather than based on people who are following you.
Yeah. So the reason why that happens is because there's not enough data for TikTok to actually scale that specific content with regards to ads as well. So there's a very less data with regards to what TikTok has to show the content to the right people. It actually works like Snapchat, because as of right now, if you're putting out ads on a Snapchat doesn't like to collect data as much as Facebook does. So you can see over here, there are hashtags that I've actually put in, so that when people see this content, they can see that content based around that hashtag.
Yeah, in a similar way that you would get on Instagram, but as I was saying at the start, it seems that it's a lot more challenged focused.
Exactly.
So they'll say, okay, well, you have this challenge, and then the suggestion there would be create a piece of content that fits in with that challenge, even as a business.
Exactly. So this is all in the initial stages. You can keep on doing this based on your persona as to what you would like to put out on TikTok. But in the initial stages, to grow your platform on that specific profile, you need to follow hashtags. Now I can see Mohammed is here, so I would like to. I found a wonderful example with regards to his business. That it's a photography guy. I'll just stop sharing this 1 second.
If anybody has any additional questions or comments, please, even if you want to kind of speak, just type in the chat, and I'm more than happy to unmute you.
Yeah. So Mohammed, since I can see you on the screen, this is a TikToker who goes out on the streets and just approaches a random beautiful woman or handsome man, and just requests them that okay, I actually have a Instagram profile that I actually go about talking to strangers and then click their pictures on the street, and he has some extremely beautiful portraits of how he does this. So here's a video.
So this is quite different, really, from some of the other stuff, in terms of that it doesn't follow a specific challenge. It's just his thing that he does. And is all the content then him stopping people and taking pictures, asking to take
Exactly,
pictures? Okay. So how would that relate into how you can figure out, say you're not a photographer, how do you then work out what your thing is on your TikTok, what that theme of your TikTok is? And can you cross between having a thing and a format that you use and engaging in the challenges?
So as I mentioned before, those challenges are for initial stages of working out how does your persona work on TikTok. You can be, this is the extremely special thing about this platform. you do not know what works unless you actually put out stuff out there.
Okay. So
it's
what would be the advice be there in terms of you start engaging in challenges, seeing how it is, would you then be looking to monitor which ones do well and do more of that, if that makes sense?
Yeah. In the initial stages, is all about being consistent with the number of ideas you have that you want to put out on these on platforms like TikTok, and then figure out what specific type of content relating to your business can you put it out there, and be creative with regards to that. Like that's the challenge. That's why it's so difficult to put out content on TikTok. However, in the long term, it's extremely rewarding. You can see how.
So we've just had a question saying, could you show an example of TikTok for business? So a business that maybe has put out some TikToks. Because obviously, I guess one of the things is it seems that it's very much like, as you said, personality in that person. So how does that then translate into a brand personality or a business personality, where it might not be about one particular person, it might be about a group of people?
Oh, I would like to counter this question.
Okay.
So the TikTok is mostly related to personalities and how you present your own specific brand in an extremely funny way. And it could be in a number of different ways, including a challenge or including a challenge or anything related to that. It'll be very difficult to answer this question as of right now because every business is different, and they can portray their specific product in a number of different ways. So I actually had one business that I wanted to show you guys. Let me just see if I have that. Okay, yeah, I have that one. So. Yeah, so this is a guy, this is a men's XP word. It's a face cream that this guy is trying to sell on TikTok. And yeah, this is how exactly he does it. It's a mixture of Hindi and English, so excuse for.
So we can't hear the sound, so you might have to describe to us what he's saying.
Oh, you guys can't hear the sound?
No.
Hi everyone, this is Ankush. I'm an actor and I'm here to tell you that it's 2020 and men should no longer shy away from using makeup. I use it regularly. I think it makes me look beautiful. You know, everybody thinks that makeup is very difficult and बहुत सारे products लगाने पड़ेंगे, बहुत सारा skill involved है, सीखना पड़ेगा. ऐसा नहीं होता है. If you just use like a one single product, which is like the Men's XP Mud BB Cream, you can actually solve most of your problems. For example, if you haven't slept well, your skin looks tired, it looks dull, or you have dark circles, you just have to take just a bit of this BB cream and just put it on your face and just dab it in. And that's it. It instantly gives you like a nice fresh look. It makes you look beautiful. It also evens out your skin tone. और पता भी नहीं चलता कुछ लगा है. So why not?
Did you hear that?
Yeah. So really, again, although it's about this skincare cream, it's him and his personality and what he's about. So getting people to buy into you as a person.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. One more thing you can actually do is, since many businesses are new to this platform, they are extremely reluctant in the early stages of showing themselves do weird stuff on TikTok. So a lot of businesses, especially big production houses or small scale businesses, if they have a specific marketing budget, they get in touch with influencer agencies which handle TikTok influencers. And what they do is they showcase their product to these influencers, and the influencer himself or herself comes up with a specific challenge that users can do. And on that basis, they can track how many purchases are made through that influencer, the
Through that
conversion rate, and
challenge.
all that technical stuff. So if a business does have a specific product and does have a marketing budget, and he really wants to invest all that money and just for trial and error purposes on this platform, he can get in touch with agents.
So I was about to say just a quite a relevant question related to that then that Bethan's asked. So she said she can see how influencers are using that, and obviously you've just described the further way.
Mhm.
Are there big brands that are creating content themselves as they would on other platforms on TikTok?
So I saw one from Yahoo.
From Yahoo.
Yep. I'll share my screen again. Yep, that's the one.
So this is Yahoo. Okay.
Yeah, this is Yahoo. And I think these are presenters for Yahoo, or these are influencers. Have you guys heard about Impractical Jokers?
Yeah.
It's an American-based TV channel, and yes, this is so Joe and Sal. One second. It's taking my time. The internet, I don't know what's wrong with the internet. Really
A lot of strain on the internet at the moment.
Yeah.
So what I mean, maybe just explain then what this content's about. What have they been trying to do here on TikTok?
You're just dancing, Dan.
Literally just dancing.
Yeah, and since it's from Yahoo.
So in that case, what's that about then? Like, how are they engaging with people? How are they? Why do they think? I mean, obviously you can't speak for Yahoo's marketing team, but why would dancing on there, does that just get their name out there because it's content they know people are going to engage with?
Exactly. So the reason why those the Impractical Jokers actually came to Yahoo is to promote Yahoo Mail. So even though they do any random stuff like dance over there, it gives promotional resources to Impractical Jokers, the show, and the Yahoo Mail as well. So when these guys as influencers they come on the show and they record videos for TikTok, it's a cross promotional strategy for both the products, which is the television show and the Yahoo Mail.
Interesting. So we've got another couple of questions here. First one is, what is the time limit on a TikTok?
The time limit on TikTok is 60 seconds.
60
so
seconds.
It can go from 15 seconds to 60 seconds.
And typically, what do people aim to go for, or does it depend on the challenge?
It depends on the challenge. Like as I said before, it's all about trial and error, trial and error, trial and error, trial and error.
The next question here. My kids are keen, but it's hard for me to see how TikToks can work for my luxurious interiors business. So for somebody who's doing a business, luxury interiors, is that in terms of like interior design or that sort of thing? In fact, we do illustrated wallpaper. Oh, that's quite cool. So for somebody that's doing something like that, how could they get themselves on TikTok? What could they do on TikTok?
Okay, can you see my screen then? Actually,
yeah, we can see your screen.
No, can you see my phone screen?
No, not at the moment. Some good ideas actually coming in through the chat. I think always whenever it's okay, here's one that's an interior design. But as with what some of the people in the chat are saying, looking at it as a way of giving value to customers. I think even although this is a little different and hard to imagine with it being a bit more, I think as Liam had said here in the chat, a little further, and I think the platform in general is less professional, so brands are able to be a bit more liberal with the content they put out.
Yeah, it's about being more human. I mean, of course, you can obviously add value from on other social media platforms, for example, Instagram, Facebook. But this is a platform where a value is just a specific. I mean, it's about 5% of what you could actually add, but it's more about entertainment. You need to show the human side of the brand where people remember you, for example, because the number of people, the number of consumers that are actually there on this platform are in the age group of 9 to 15. There are more.
In terms of
It's increasing.
In terms of the core audience, but that is again changing with, especially with what's going on at the moment, more people downloading the platform, as we saw with Facebook when Facebook started. You know, early kind of college, university age. Now, Facebook's very much seen as in some respects, and sometimes an older audience as well.
Exactly. Yes. I'll just play this video. Let's just see what's it about. So this is just an extremely random video. Like there's not even any creativity that this guy is actually doing. He's just doing some opening doors and kitchens. But see the engagement on this video.
It's quite high.
I mean, he's not even being creative about explaining the features of those doors or kitchen knobs or anything. He's just opening and closing them. But since the platform has such an astronomical reach, it has given him that. Let's see.
Would people find this because, so there's obviously a song, is there a song related to this at the bottom I can see?
He hasn't included a song.
Okay.
That's what's not playing. Yeah. He hasn't included a song.
There's not a song. How does that work on the platform? Somebody had said, I think Liam again, and I've heard it mentioned before about TikTok songs, and people refer to this as TikTok songs. How does that work, and how can you use songs in this and make sure you're using the right songs?
Okay, one second. For example, like this is just a random video that I take of myself. Hey guys, we're actually doing a Zoom video over here. We have a number of different participants. Click the link below to join now.
Oh.
Cool. So,
I mean, in terms of song, so where does the music and the songs come into it?
Yeah, I'll go through that. So if this is like a simple video that I actually do, and go on this section.
So it's just a bit, the share is a little bit laggy.
I think I'll just, should I show it on my home screen?
I mean, you can always just talk us through it. Just talk us through it.
Cool. 1 second. Cool. So once this video has been done, there are different sections after that video once you press next, which includes sounds, effects, text, stickers, and music as well. So there's a section on this section where you can click the music button and then search for a number of different songs based on what you actually recorded. So once you do that, you can get an edit of that song and then just upload it.
So how do people, because there's this whole thing about songs that are viral on TikTok or that a lot of people use on TikTok, do you need to capitalize on that and be using those songs?
That's an extremely good question, because a lot of challenges are based around songs, which a lot of different companies actually promote. So you can actually use that song because it's played multiple number of times on TikTok, which gives you much more higher reach.
And how does that affect the reach and engagement? Can people see content with that song in, or can you only search by hashtag? They can see. So if you use a particular song, people can search and see your content because you've used that song.
Exactly. Yeah.
So using a song that's currently popular on TikTok can increase that level of engagement then, or level of reach.
Yeah. So you can use the song, you can use the hashtag. Every single one of those elements gives you that specific reach that you actually want. Moving on, we've already talked about this section, which includes personality traits, which is unexpected, emotional, and simple. With regards to unexpected, it can usually be a dance on a song, as we discussed before. So in this specific quarantine time, there are a number of different families that have come on TikTok and started making a number of different TikToks based around songs. It also gives there's also an emotional characteristics as well. It's sometimes funny, it's sometimes emotional, it's sometimes, with regards to an emotional, there are a number of different TikTok channels where army people have recorded themselves coming home from war or stuff like that. You may have seen those videos on YouTube and Instagram, where army officials have come back home, they've seen their dog, or sometimes they've seen their family members. So with regards to those, they have also used those specific videos on TikTok as well. With regards to simple, you can go about using the same videos that you've been posting on Instagram, which includes a very tutorials type of videos on TikTok as well. Because a lot of different consumers do actually like those specific videos as well. So for example, I actually on my platform have reused the videos that I used on Instagram, and then I put it on TikTok as well. Sometimes I took the interesting bits of that specific video and then uploaded them on TikTok in a very extremely entertaining manner. Yeah, moving on, like the top 3 strategies that TikTok actually use, which is again audience participation. With regards to audience participation, like Drake, Justin Bieber, DJ Khaled have actually done duet songs. Like they record themselves as singing that song, and then TikTok actually gives you the option to record it with them. It's like a duet video contest basically. So you can use that as well. Showcasing your product through comedic skits. We already saw a number of different examples of what you can actually do. Running influencer campaigns, approaching influencer agencies which handle TikTok influencers, and letting the influencer come up with ideas of how he wants to showcase your product. So here's the catch. A lot of different companies, for a number of different reasons, and those are the right reasons, want to protect their brand in certain way. They don't want to showcase a very abstract version of what their brand actually represents, which makes them feel quite protective against their product. But the factor of the matter is, in the initial stages, when you're just starting out, and if you have a specific marketing budget, it's always good to be flexible in terms of what ideas can the influencer come up for you, and how it actually represents your brand, and if it does actually have an effect on your sales.
Can I just add a point before you move on to the number 4? So with influencers on TikTok, as we can see from other platforms like Instagram, big influencers now know their worth. So they know they can demand a lot of money for their services. Obviously, we've seen some more people move to like micro influencers and that sort of thing. People with a lot lower following, but higher engaged, and probably going to be cheaper for them to use. how does it work on TikTok? I take it very similar in that the people with a lot of followers are very expensive. So would you suggest, for especially those who run small businesses or startups, how could they get the use of influencers without having to run up a big kind of bill?
So with regards to influencers that are there on Instagram and on TikTok, influencers on Instagram are skyrocketing expensive. And we don't want that. We really don't want them, because that's not an emerging platform. The influencers that are on TikTok are comparatively way less expensive. So giving you an example of a guy which I got in touch with, he's an Instagram influencer, but also has a TikTok account. On TikTok, he has about 1 million followers, a million engagement metrics. And on Instagram, he has 34,000. So the money he charged me for Instagram was about 600 pounds, which comes down to 60,000 rupees for me. And the same for TikTok, he charged me about 200 pounds, which is about 20,000 rupees for me. Even though that platform is engaging, he also knows that the market won't value a TikTok campaign as much as Instagram, because TikTok doesn't have the leverage that Instagram has to demand that much money. So in the initial stages, it's always better to make sure that you try it yourself first, get slightly comfortable with it, and then approach influencers, because you at least have an idea of what you're getting yourself into. I wanted to market my dad's music, which is actually there on YouTube. And I DM'd at least 100 Instagram influencers through their TikTok account. So on TikTok, you can actually mention your YouTube channel, your Instagram, your Snapchat, everything. It gives you that option. It gives you those options, and it makes the influencer easy to find. And you cannot actually DM an influencer on TikTok, which is extremely weird. You can only DM him on Instagram. So I got in touch with him on Instagram, said that, okay, I have a song coming up. Would you be open to doing a paid campaign for me on TikTok? Well, yeah, that's sure, not a problem. So I asked him, what are your charges? Well, 250 pounds to 300 pounds. So, okay. I actually wanted to spend all my money, spread all my money across a number of different platforms. And for me as an individual, as an individual business, it was difficult. So I actually told them that it'll be difficult for me to offer you money in exchange, but I can definitely showcase your product in my videos or in the future in a specific way. Would that be okay for you? He said, yeah, I'll definitely think about it, and we'll get back in touch. So I actually have a meeting with him tomorrow. So you see, I did not have money to actually give him. But in return, if you're extremely honest with the person that as of right now, I can pay you slightly less, or maybe bid a specific amount that you're willing to pay an influencer, or give him your value instead, like showcase his product on your platform.
There's still got to be that exchange of value there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the last thing, which is TikTok coins, this is extremely interesting. So on TikTok, there's a section called My Wallet. So you can purchase these 100 coins, 500 coins, 2000 coins. And these are only for extremely loyal followers. So what you can do is you can purchase these coins, and every time an influencer or an influential company on TikTok comes live, you can give these coins to them, which then in turn, when they redeem these coins, which you have given, can turn into cash. And he can in exchange give you a review or a product campaign or a product review, stuff like that.
So hang on, just explain that again. Who are these used to? Are these used to pay influencers?
Exactly, yeah. So when these coins are given to influencers, they turn into cash. They're a transaction format which TikTok has come up with. An extremely huge concept in a number of different countries, but yeah, it's still booming.
Okay, how does this? Because obviously you've got to pay cash for the coins, which then they convert into cash. Is there an advantage to doing it this way over just exchanging cash, for yourselves?
It's all trial and error again. because this is my research. I've been trying to do this, but I went through the traditional way of DMing people and asking them if there was another chance. The budget that these coins have is way lower than what an influencer would charge on TikTok, so it won't be the right choice to make. However, these coins can only be used when an influencer comes live on the TikTok channel, and if you would like to give him these coins in exchange for something.
So it's a way of securing the work.
Yes.
You could pay them and not have anything, but this, they would only get it if they put that content out.
Yeah, it's like a reward-based system that you can give them. Okay. For example, if you give one of these coins, for example, if you buy 100 coins for about £1, and if you give them those 100 coins, they can come live with you. So that's one thing. Yeah, you know, these influencers sometime on Instagram, they come live with their fans, and then they just talk through it. For example, a number of different influencers have done this, which include Taylor Swift, Justin Bieber, DJ Khaled, or Drake. They have actually come with their fans live.
So
yeah.
Another question that's coming here, is there any evidence that engagement can convert into sales? So how would you normally look to convert the engagement on a platform like TikTok into whether it's sales or traffic to a platform?
Yeah, this is a very interesting question and very close to my heart. So there are two number of people in this marketing field. One are sales and one are salespeople, and one are branding and marketing. The former are short-term players, and the latter are long-term. It's more about telling your story than to just make a quick buck out of every single post. So you want to create a brand first and then make a sale, and not always try to make a sale. However, it's an important element of your sales structure while you're advertising on these platforms. But in the initial stages, you should always make sure that you are converting yourself into a brand and not just another product.
But how? So once you've built that brand, once you've got that following and there's people there, how do you? Because I know some of the social media platforms are looking at strategies where they keep you in the platform. So like Instagram introducing the shopping stuff on the actual platform.
Yeah.
How do you then move people? So I imagine, as with other forms of social media, you'd normally say, okay, at the end, there needs to be a call to action. Visit my website, click this link, do this.
Yeah.
What does that look like on TikTok? And what is the process then? Are you able to put a clickable link that they can then follow through to the website, or do they need to go through something else?
Yeah, you can obviously run ads on TikTok. However, the advantage is that you have a massive reach when you run ads on TikTok. However, on the other hand, to be completely honest to this audience, there's a specific registration process and a scrutiny of your specific profile, where you submit your interest on running ads on TikTok, which takes a number of days for TikTok to actually scrutinize you yourself on other social media platforms, and then make a decision on whether they would like you to run ads. Most of the ads, to be completely honest, that I've found so far on TikTok have been for apps, for makeup, and for photography.
And what about if you're not running ads, if you just want to bounce off your free content?
I mean, like, can you?
So when you post a video to TikTok, say you want the call to action of that video for people to go and check your website or go onto your website, how does that work? So you don't want to do an ad, you just want to put a normal piece of content up there. Are you able to put a link in the description of the video? Do they have to go onto your profile and click something like on Instagram?
Yeah, they would have to go to your profile and click on the link that actually is there on your profile.
So it works a little similar to Instagram in that respect.
Exactly. So in the description, if you have clearly seen, the description is on the left-hand bottom corner, and above that is your username. So if you have a product that you're actually selling, you can just say that if you want a free trial, just have an emoji or pointing out towards your username, which will take them to their username, and from there they can visit your website. You can include the link of your website or your other social media platform profiles where the link is available.
Yeah, and I imagine this specific question that was actually asked itself might be a little hard to answer. Around, is there evidence that engagement on something like TikTok can convert to sales?
As of right now, since it's an early based platform, there's not enough data to actually give you the right answer of how many clicks turn into customers or sales. However, there's obviously a retention in the number of engagement that your other platforms are getting. So giving an example of what these influencers are actually doing is they're coming on TikTok, making content and stuff, and driving the users from TikTok to their Instagram profile. So they're using this TikTok platform as a fuel to grow their organic reach on Instagram. So they're redirecting everything towards platforms that actually have leverage.
Interesting, thank you. So question from Bethan, more on the technical part of actually doing the videos. So do most people shoot video in the app, or is it uploaded, or can you upload a video that's already made? Looks like there are a lot of editing options, adding sound, etc.
You can upload videos right from the camera roll. However, it's best to record the video on TikTok. Okay. And the amount of effects that TikTok has, it's amazing. There are thousands of filters you can actually use. Snapchat is nowhere closer to what TikTok is doing right now with filters, with the game on filters. I honest to God tell you, the filter game on TikTok is on another level per se. Really. Yeah. They are doing an absolutely amazing job. Yeah.
So film them in the app, and then there's a lot of editing. Would you say that it's for people that haven't got experience of editing?
Yeah.
It's quite simple to use and engage with.
Simple to use, yeah. And the thing is, you can always make sure that if you want to replicate someone's idea, you can start by doing that. I started by doing that. I replicated others' ideas, made sure the content that actually is working on TikTok, I just use the same thing again to increase my leverage on that platform. So in the beginning, anything works. You just need to keep on trying this stuff, because once you will definitely get to a point where you've figured stuff out, and then okay, this works for me, let's just do this. Then you can do that. But for initial stages, for people who have no experience on TikTok, it's better to replicate ideas that are already working.
Very interesting. And then we just had a comment here from Liam saying, I've heard anecdotal evidence of companies getting crazy amount of traffic after large TikTok accounts showcase their products.
Yeah, that's influencers. That's influencer campaign. Oh, one more thing. Another, I got in touch with an agency as well, and they have 3 packages, £2,000, £5,000, and £10,000. The £2,000 gives me 6 influencers with 6 different challenges. £5,000 gives me 15 to 20 influencers with 15 to 20 challenges. The £20,000 gives me 30 to 40 influencers with 30 to 40 challenges. So every influencer from this campaign gets £500. The rest of it is taken by the company, depending on how big the influencer is, that much amount of money he will get. But these companies, these agencies that are actually in touch with these influencers, they have their own specific software of how they track engagement into conversions. They have that data. It's just not extremely accessible of actually seeing how much. There are case studies on their websites and everything. It's actually there online, but to see it for ourselves, you can only see how your product is actually working once you start trying it.
And how, so for those, again, that don't have that kind of budget, what can they do if they're posting content? You said earlier that the best thing for them to do is just to start themselves. So put out content themselves. How can they maybe have a simple way of measuring the success of that effort?
It's a very interesting question and a difficult one as well. As of right now, it'll be difficult to answer this question because you're not running any paid traffic to those specific websites. But in regards to organic, you can always see the number of engagement that you're getting on every single video.
Yeah.
So you can take that as a metric as of right now when you're doing everything organic. When it comes to paid, then the companies or the influencer will actually tell you how much of it turned into sales. And you can see because you have a CRM software.
Sure. But you could still, through the link that you have in your profile, have maybe a tracking link, so you know how many people coming to your website are actually traffic from TikTok itself.
Exactly. Yeah.
Interesting. So I'm just aware that we've kind of spent an hour on this so far. I know people have got busy days and other things to do, even if we are locked down.
Yeah. Because since this is a very interesting topic, and if people are okay, I actually wanted to do a live, since I actually talked about that, I wanted to give you an overview of other platforms as well. But since I've worked a lot on Facebook, run multiple different ads on Facebook, and earned a lot of engagement and money as well through Facebook, I would like to make an ad live right now and show you the important elements of making a Facebook ad. Because with regards to any of these social media platforms, including TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, or Google, example, all that stuff, the scalability and the power that Facebook has is really, really amazing. And I wanted to showcase an advert to you, make a live ad right now, and show it to you guys how you make it, if that's okay with the time restraints.
I'm just thinking in terms of time. Maybe if maybe what if we recorded a separate video for that?
Okay.
So we could show people that, and I can send it out to everybody that's here and signed up.
Okay.
And we just finish off with some final thoughts on what we've covered so far, just to wrap it up. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds fine. That sounds fine.
Okay. So I would love a whole. I think maybe that's something we could do then. There's a couple of people saying that, and again, you know that you could do a whole video on Facebook ads. So maybe we look to do a separate one on Facebook ads then.
Definitely.
Yeah. Can I just ask if anybody's got any final questions? Please type them away. Whilst we're waiting for them to.
Everyone's saying
everyone's saying do one on. So we will arrange a separate one on Facebook ads. Whilst I'm waiting for people to type their final questions on what we've covered today, maybe could you just give us 3 very quick points to summarize how they could get started on TikTok?
Be authentic, open-minded, and entertaining.
Simple as that. Simple as that.
Simple as that. I mean, you guys, you don't have to make this thing difficult. It's really not. And and it's my prayer to you guys that do not what's that called? Do not low level any person who's making TikToks, because I know a lot of my friends who are like, guys, he's doing TikToks. He's just wasting his time. He is not wasting his time. It's really, really difficult to make a TikTok video, but the reward that this platform actually gives you is astronomical. So try and make stuff as simple as possible for you, and yeah, just keep on making those trial and error mistakes, because once you know what works for you, then you can run paid campaigns towards that. And that was the entire objective of the Facebook video that I wanted to show, that I'll show you guys in the next video. But yeah, just be in that trial and error process.
Fantastic. And I think on that, everybody just kind of saying thank you. And from us, thank you very much for giving us your time and running us through this. I'll have a chat with Elroy, guys, and what we'll do is we'll arrange a separate session looking at Facebook ads, and we'll do that. That sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds good. Yeah.
Awesome. As always, guys, thank you for joining us. We have another session on Thursday, 12 o'clock, which is looking at design sprints. So how you can build an MVP for your startup in just 5 days. Going to be really exciting. Please join us for that. And I'll just say thank you very much and see you all soon.